And my voice, I lost my voice a few days ago, so it's a little scratchy outside.
Excuses.
Oh, Jackson, trying to use his humor right from the start. Let me get my turn. Okay.
Many companies are already developing self-driving cars. Both Tesla and Honda say that the self-driving cars will be ready for mass production by 2020. The Google car, which there are currently 7 of them driving around the country, says that they will be ready for mass production by 2018. So there are already self-driving cars out there. It's just a matter of people accepting them and them being legal. So, but before we debate whether if a self-driving car is a good thing or a bad thing, we have to know how the car works. So self-driving cars don't run off a set program. This makes sense because you can't predict every situation that the car might be in. There's an infinite amount of situations that could pop up. So instead it uses a self-thinking algorithm. So there's an internal computer in the car that actually reacts and learns from situations it is put in. The car uses different kinds of sensors to learn about its surroundings and to sense dangers and stuff like that. There are motion sensors around the wheels to know if other cars are getting too close to it or when it's backing up so it doesn't hit anything. There's an infrared camera on the car, that can about, I think it was 20 feet radius, just to pick up any animals that are going to go on the road, any people walking or cyclists. So it can adjust its speed based on what those things are doing. There's cameras all over the car to map out its surroundings. There's a camera on the dash of the car that actually reads traffic signals. So it can adjust its speed when it has to slow down or speed up. It can stop when it comes to a stop sign or a red light or something like that. The biggest thing about the car, though, is a thing called the laser rangefinder. It's on top of the car. It's this sort of looks like a police light, and it spins around and it actually shoots out and scans its surroundings to make a map of its surroundings. And that is 360 degrees around the car, so it can see everything around it at once, much better than a human could focus on its surroundings. The car also has a built-in GPS in the car, so it doesn't have a satellite that sends it the information about its course. It actually has a built-in GPS. It's a very basic GPS. It doesn't tell much about where it is. It sort of builds onto the GPS from the information it gets around it, because there's no way to get a perfect GPS with all the information that the car needs to know where it's going and stuff like that. The navigation system is also built into the car. So again, it doesn't have any signals coming into the car from satellite and stuff like that. This just makes the car a lot more protected. So the only way to actually hack the car is to be directly connected to the car. And I'm pretty sure you would notice if someone's in the back seat of your car with a computer. So, and even if somehow it was hacked, if they had something connected that sent a signal to them, the hacker, if they messed with the cameras, the car would know. If they messed with the GPS, the car would know. So there's really no way to hack it.
Making the roadways safer is a prominent concern in society today, and it's a valid issue that should be dealt with. To many, a self-driving car sounds like an incredible solution. Google promises its new innovative automobile will eradicate most danger on the roads. But upon closer examination, we have to ask ourselves, is it really the answer that we're looking for? And what will be the side effects of such an undertaking? First of all, while these cars intend to keep passengers safer from other roadway users, the security behind their advanced technology is going to prove a huge obstacle. A series of trial attacks have demonstrated serious weaknesses within their security, which could allow hackers to take over control of key systems, including throttle, brakes, and steering. They will easily be able to trick the cars into detecting fake objects, taking evasive action, stopping, or making divergent route decisions. Experts say we may even start to face ransom demands. Imagine starting your car and watching a message light up on the dash that says, "We've hacked your car, pay $1,000 to get it back." Software hackers reportedly make millions of dollars off of such threats already, and they will only become more common as driverless cars gain popularity. According to IHS Automotive, electronic systems in the cars currently have no or very limited security measures. And in fact, as demonstrated recently, interference with the car technology can be caused using something as simple as a handheld laser pointer. On a similar note, since driverless cars are controlled via GPS, every inch that the cars travel is able to be recorded and used by others for surveillance, just as our phone activity and internet data are already vulnerable. Basically, they will operate as ground-based surveillance drones, collecting images and data on both drivers and the public at large. And with vehicle tracking, the government could finally tax drivers by every mile driven. Through driverless cars, the automobile, which stands as one of history's great amplifiers of personal autonomy and liberty, will evolve into a giant tracking device controlled by a $250 billion corporation that makes its money through an increasingly intimate and obtrusive knowledge of its customers. As illuminating as our searches and other online behavior might be, there's still some room for ambiguity. But with these cars, in time, Google will know when you arrive at work each morning, how many times a week you go to Taco Bell, and how long you spend at the gym. In theory, Google would determine your routes to your desired destination based on distance and time. But what if Google, which already filters cyberspace for you, begins choosing routes as a way of putting you in proximity to relevant content? In addition to all these security issues, one must consider the legal ramifications of driverless cars. Letting a 3,000-pound death machine steer itself is going to result in some huge liabilities. These cars aren't perfect. They navigate by GPS system, which is definitely not reliable. Their laser cameras cannot function in certain disagreeable weather conditions. And what's more, they're not capable of rationalizing and making decisions like a human can. For example, every driver makes hundreds of daily driving decisions that, strictly speaking, break driving laws. For example, crossing the yellow line to pull around a double-parked vehicle. It all works out fine because of something called human judgment, but what company is going to program its cars to break the law? Also, if one of these cars has the choice between hitting an elderly man crossing the street or a child on a bicycle, how will it be programmed to choose? In the case of an accident, who's going to be at fault, the owner or the vehicle manufacturer? In conclusion, many problems remain to be solved with these cars. Yet ambition for money and fame has Google planned to put them on the road long before all their flaws have been adequately investigated. In the words of Andrew Jackson, you must pay the price if you wish to secure the blessing. And in this case, the price is time. We need to be willing to pay it for the good of all.
Okay, we have a crossfire between the two, and I'll tell you when your time's up, and whoever wants to start, whoever jumps on a question first. Go ahead.
Do you have a question or you want to ask?
I did have a question.
Okay.
You said that right at the end that a company would not program the car to do something illegal.
Right.
But you said that a human can cross the yellow line because they can see that's going to be okay. But doesn't that mean they broke the law?
Right. Okay, so the same thing happens in, like, there's this argument about the fact that cars are safer and that the greater good should prevail over those who would die. Okay, so, like, most people would be safer with the cars, right? Is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what about those people who do get hacked or who end up getting hurt because of the self-driving cars, like technology goes wrong? Okay, then you have to decide whose life is more important. And technically, you would say that they do have to program the cars to choose between hitting a pedestrian or causing the person in the driver's seat to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a group of like 10 pedestrians and then you have a person driving the car, the car's going to choose to kill the person in the car, okay? But are people really going to buy the cars knowing that they're going to make the decision for them? You see what I'm saying? If the car's not going to break the law by crossing the double yellow line, which, by the way, is legal as long as there's no traffic coming the other way. If they're going to program the cars to kill the driver instead of breaking the law, nobody's going to buy the cars, which is going to result in like a catch-22 situation where more people die because more people don't buy the cars, which means more people die because the regular cars are more dangerous. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just an endless circle.
Sort of.
Okay.
Alright.
I have a question. In order for these cars to work properly, they have to, they have to work perfectly in order for the safety to be increased, which is impossible already. But they would have to be completely adopted by everybody in order to work right. How would a quick and universal transition be possible if people are not willing to adapt to the new technology?
So most companies are already sort of working on having all the cars be self-driving
Exactly.
somewhere. So after a while, all the new cars will have a self-driving feature.
What I'm saying is, what about the people who don't want that to happen?
Well, then they're just going to have to drive older cars, and after a while, those cars will not be able to be serviced anymore. And then eventually, all these cars will be main cars.
Right, but the thing is, in order for them all to work, right, they have to work perfectly. All of them would have to be self-driving.
Okay, okay. Okay, good job. Okay, now we're ready for the second constructive. Good job.